is like your upper half or your upper torso, and
Yeah.
then just blackness.
It's the cat. This cat's fur does not reflect light.
It's like that
You
new.
can't take a picture of him.
I know it's like that new pigment of color of blue or black or something, right? Where it
Yeah, like
doesn't
he's
actually,
the
it
blackest
absorbs
black.
light.
It's
Yeah, it
Vanta
literally-
Black. Vanta Black
Yeah.
3 or whatever is where they got
Right.
the George was the inspiration for Vanta Black.
Yeah, seriously.
Sell him, big money right here in Joe, George. I mean,
Normally I'd kick him out, but George doesn't have too much time left. So if he wants to be on the podcast, he gets to be on the podcast.
yeah,
Wait,
except you can't
wait.
see him, so he's not really into podcast.
Wait, are you talking about your cat or Jorge Lorenzo?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, I've pressed record, so let's expound on this.
You guys have-
We're not gonna make jokes. I pressed record because Kevin started talking about his dying cat, and this is gonna be comedy gold.
No, I pressed record way before you actually said that, so I apologize. But Jorge Lorenzo, ready to go.
Well, you can't put me. We haven't started yet. I haven't sat up. I gotta get in my position, bro.
No, I can put you on the spot. I can put you. There's actually a lot of rumors going around that Jorge has been sacked already.
No, he's not been sacked because the entire reason they brought him in, they didn't bring the only guy who's proven himself able to beat Marquez over the course of a season to the team that Marquez is on unless they wanted to consolidate that effort. Let's keep your friends close and your enemies closer. If Jorge Lorenzo was the number 2 rider on their team, he's no longer a threat. He's no longer a liability. He's a commodity. They invested in Jorge's inability to win. HRC hasn't given a fuck about anyone other than their lead rider winning for some time now. Ow, fucking George just bit me.
he doesn't like you talking shit about his name.
He doesn't like me talking shit. He's mad, but he doesn't like my tone. Anyways.
I have 2 points. Wait, I can actually see him now. He's licking your finger.
No, I see his leg too. So.
Ow!
Okay, that wasn't licking. I'm sorry to laugh at your misfortune. This is not a good way to start off. No, so I have 2 points. 2 things that HRC probably.
Are we going now?
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, we're going. So one, they definitely don't care about, and Jorge Lorenzo is definitely contributing to them losing the team championship.
No one gives a fuck about the team championship.
That's true. Yeah.
Literally,
Except the
no
satellites.
one cares. No one cares. The satellite people don't care either. They brought him on to control, it's literally like Littlefinger. Like chaos is a ladder. You know what I'm saying? Like Game of Thrones style. Like they didn't bring Jorge in to be competitive. They brought him in to control him. Whether he's competitive or not doesn't matter. What they want to make sure is he's not competitive with their golden boy. And the best way to do that is to literally control what he does. They're paying him lip service and they're going to fly him back to Japan for whatever. He's going to get on a 20-hour fucking flight to fly to Japan for them to tell him, I don't know, whatever. So, they don't give a fuck whether he wins or loses, only that he doesn't beat Marquez.
So I gotta ask, Kevin, is HRC only doing this to Lorenzo because of Marquez? This isn't like Casey Stoner when they picked him up at Ducati, right?
No, it's totally different. That was Livio Supo literally saying, oh shit, HRC hasn't won a championship in God knows how, from 2006 to 2010 or 11 or 2011, and so we need something. And Supo's like, well, I know a guy. Ow! What the fuck?
Side commentary from George.
Okay, wait. So my other
Okay,
point.
hold on. I have to remove the cat.
George isn't about the hype. He is not
about.
down.
He doesn't like me yelling. Also, a lot of times, one of the things that the cat's about yelling is I get home and our showers in our living room because I live in a barn, and I'll be talking to my girlfriend, but I talk loud, right? Because y'all have heard the podcast, I talk loud. But imagine me needing to talk over something, so I'll be talking hella loud, and Buster will walk to the fucking shower and just start screaming at me from the toilet.
Wait, you're in the shower trying to talk to someone, and
yes,
the
and
cat
Buster
is
doesn't
screaming
like
at you.
how loud I am, so Buster starts
shower.
screaming at me too.
So basically, in your barn, it's just an everyday screaming match.
It's just fucking
Got it.
felines and Kevin's just screaming.
How does Daniel
Anyways,
deal
back
with
to
this?
Jorge. Look, to answer Dennis's question, is it No, it's not. They brought Stoner in to literally win the championship, right? Like this isn't working. Danny's not getting it. Livio Sopa's like, well, I know this guy, and he won on a garbage can with 2 wheels, so he might be able to win on this garbage can with 2 wheels. And of course he did, and they kept him on, right? But they were willing to get rid of Dovizioso for that. They don't care about all the other stuff. They only want to win the championship, and the only person that keeps him from breaking all of Rossi's records, the only person that keeps him from winning consistently for the next 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, is the one guy who's proven able to beat him, and the one guy who's proven able to beat him on multiple machinery and come back, right? Like, he goes into win on the Ducati. What would he be doing on the Ducati right now is a pretty interesting thought experiment. But they brought him on.
Jorge, right?
Jorge, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, we're talking about Jorge now. So they bring Jorge over because he's the only threat. You know what I mean? It's like in medieval Europe, right? Like you're warring with this king and you're the king and you're like, well, I got a daughter and you got a son. Let's have them fuck and we'll have some fun. Like it's literally like just marry the families together whether you like it or not, because once you have, vested interest. Because where's Jorge going to go? He's not going back to Ducati. Like, he can't get sacked early. The only people on 1-year contracts, was fucking Petrucci, and he just signed a 20-year deal with Ducati. You know what I mean?
Well, so now I have kind of like a 2-part question, and the first question is, do the two of you really think that Lorenzo's not going to be able to get past the sabotage, so to speak, that he won't win or won't be a multiple winner on the RCV?
This kind of goes into the second point that I was going to bring up, that the thing that Jorge is failing at right now is taking points off of Dovizioso. I do think he will eventually do that. But at the same time, to Kev's, and it goes to Kev's point, is I don't think HRC gives a shit if Jorge takes points off of Dovi, because Marquez has shown that he doesn't need it.
Well, so what if Jorge starts doing that, and even more than that, he actually starts taking points away from Marquez? What's HRC gonna do?
We're kind of back to that. We're kind of back to that conversation that we've had for the past couple of years. In order to win a GP race, it's not like you have to beat one person. Now you got to beat 4, where Jorge now has to beat 4 other guys because he's now one of the slowest of the factory talents.
We already know exactly what'll happen if he does start to beat him. You fucking log into Wi-Fi. You get the fucking rev thing and you just turn it down. They
HRC map 8.
They did that shit to Tony Elias live in 2008 on the fucking, you know what I mean? No, you can't. You beat him once or twice, then okay, it's time to know your role. You know what I mean? The idea that he was never going to consistently beat him this year, and I don't think they were ever going to invest. The guy has such a peculiar style of riding that it's easy to control him. He's not going to consistently take points away because they just won't consistently give him the bike he wants.
Yeah, I've said this. You give him a new triple clamp that's the wrong stiffness, and he'll be 18th place.
You saw the ad today, pinning hopes on a new fairing. The dude pins his whole hopes on body work and tank covers and shit.
Actually, for this last round, the announcers were reporting that they put a spacer below the top triple clamp so they could raise his forks up higher.
Right.
Okay, so they moved the forks up 1/4 of an inch. And don't get me wrong, the GP bikes are very sensitive to setup. I'm absolutely certain of that. But to go from back of the grid to winning races because you move the handlebars 1/4 of an inch or 5 mil, I'm not holding my breath. At least with the Ducati and his tank change, he was already kind of there. He was able to put in the fast laps, do good in qualifying occasionally, and just couldn't sustain it over race distance. It took him 1.5 years to get there, or maybe a little more than a year. But with the Honda, he's not there yet. We've seen that there's no front end.
And he's farther back than he was at this time in Ducati in the first year.
Yeah,
sure, but I thought it was established that it isn't really just one thing that Jorge needs. It's a accumulation of a lot of things. I think
it's
with
all
Jorge,
the things. Yeah,
right. But with Jorge, it isn't like a breakthrough, like taking a jackhammer to something. It's kind of like just a chisel, and it's gonna take some time, but eventually, it'll get there. And
it's the opposite. It's literally he needs the total package. He needs everything down to minutia, shape of his tank. Triple clamp spacers to go from being a joke to being the fastest guy in the world.
Yeah, I think what Dennis is saying is like they're chiseling away at the statue of David, and
Right.
Did you
it's
guys watch
perfect when it's done.
Did you watch a short film that they put out about Pedrosa?
The little samurai expose that's
Yeah,
like all over YouTube and
Danny
stuff. No, I haven't
Danny
watched it
kind of
yet.
admitted something interesting where he says he's too sensitive. You know, he feels everything. And if we're gonna say that Lorenzo and Pedrosa are so similar, I mean, I think that best trait about them is also their worst trait, where they're kind of fighting that right now. But
Danny said that
I mean,
about himself.
yeah, he's
Huh.
too sensitive, and in some ways he starts feeling things and he can't get past it, while other people can just ride around it, like
That's
say
like the
Marquez.
fucking biggest humble brag ever. I'm too sensitive. I'm too able to sense. That's like that bitch that we all know that's like, I'm an empath and I feel other people's feelings. So I I cry at work and I post on Facebook constantly about shit that goes on, but I'm an empath. You wouldn't know. I like feel more deeply than you.
We've said it before that there are times when being a little stupider on a motorcycle ain't a bad thing.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
The more you know, the slower you go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what Danny's doing there too, besides everything that you just said, Kev? He said that and he raised the price for KTM.
Right.
Just brought it up, kept it going.
Yeah. Right, exactly. He's like, I'm so sensitive that I can't really write around it, but I can diagnose it.
I can tell you what's going on.
I can tell you what's going on.
No, I could agree with that sentiment about Jorge Lorenzo. It's just, but even Jorge is more outlier than Danny Pedrosa ever was, right?
I
Like
think he is now for sure.
yeah, we blame most of Danny Pedrosa's issues in the last couple of years on the Michelin tires and the Honda not being able to work with his riding style, right? He wasn't able to get
Right.
heat in the tires because of his small weight, because the chassis, like you had to murder the front brake. And we're actually seeing confirmation of that from Cal. Like there is no front end feel out of the RCV these days. Marquez is fine with it. It's actually better for him because he pushes the chassis so hard that he gets the feel that he needs. Even Cal, who is like
And that's
mini
the
Marquez. Yeah, go ahead.
Jorge is having the same problem that Danny had, which was, why are we going to invest? I mean, yeah, he's a couple points ahead in the championship, but he's like a combined total of like 1/10 of a second away from 5 wins.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
Marquez.
Marquez, like it's a tight championship because he has one crash, but the guy is so fast and so far ahead and like they're not going to spend a bunch of time and energy and effort turning the bike upside down when like next to the garage is the guy running the championship year after year after year. Like literally look to your left and say, "Hey man, he rides it and he rides it amazing."
Yeah, so I think back to Dennis's second question there. If Jorge Lorenzo was able to actually beat Marquez
When?
consistently,
When?
like if Jorge wins the title next year, I could see HRC flipping and just realizing like, oh shit, like maybe we'll get we'll get the next
I
two
don't- I
titles
don't
out of
know.
Jorge because Marquez lost something.
I don't know about that one, Rob.
Well, but
Even if that
they're
were to
just
happen,
they're so cruel and calculating. Like they haven't shown there's no loyalty to the riders, right? It's the machine. It's we're HRC. We're gonna win the championship because we're amazing. Like we hire the best riders, and they're just a cog in the whole machine.
Well, you don't think that even if that happens, that Marquez will still have the upper hand on Jorge being the younger of the two. He's still the future.
He is,
What?
but
Jorge is it the younger? We talking about Jorge?
no, Marquez is the younger of the
is
two.
younger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would take some other circumstances to contribute to the flip, like another Marquez shoulder incident or something, right? They just like Supo turned on Stoner, and then came back to him, and turned on Danny, or Puig turned on, or Alberto Puig, sorry, turned on Danny Pedrosa, right? Like everyone at HRC seems to be a backstabbing motherfucker if they're not getting the results that they want.
Right. Exactly.
So
I mean,
so
for Jorge, I just don't see him as a priority right now. The Marquez is, he's leading the championship, but he's leading it far more than like the points show right now. Dovi's got 1 win. He's got 3 wins, and all the other guys have 1 win. They're not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's clearly the favorite by far and away, and Dovi just had a victory, snatched from him by Petrucci, and which was awesome. And I don't see them paying really much attention to him. I mean, I think it's lip service. Yeah, we'll fly you out to Japan, whatever, man. Enjoy your 20-hour flight. You know what I mean? Like, in the midst of your season where you travel all year anyway. Like, they're going to fly him out and make him more tired, more jet lagged, more, stressed and all that shit. They don't give a fuck.
Man.
Poor Jorge Lorenzo. Sad times.
Right. Just like Jack Miller, they hired him so that he wouldn't be a threat, not so that he would.